Biden administration was preparing the American people for what we were about to witness weeks and weeks before the invasion began to take place. And so they knew that it was coming. They could see. I mean, Russia was getting all of the hundred thousand, more than 100,000 troops along the Ukraine.
Closer to NATO. Rebecca, you know
Where'd
what
she
happened
go
when
now?
near the Polish
There
border.
she
Here's
is.
the last line of the piece. No one wants a broader war, but as Russia escalates, Mr. Biden and NATO had better be prepared to fight one. A reckless or desperate Mr. Putin may give them no choice. How would you assess the level of preparedness there is on behalf of NATO? And who is leading that charge, do you think, Rebecca?
I think there's two things that I'm watching, Bill. There's one is that the Russians can very purposely attack NATO efforts, and we saw the attack against this facility. That's where NATO trainers have been training Ukrainian forces. It's where weapons delivery is making its way into the country. It's only a few miles from the Polish border, obviously a NATO ally. And so the Russians can intentionally attack targets like this, NATO missions essentially, and they can unintentionally escalate because of, if they get closer to the west, they can unintentionally escalate, in which the NATO ally is going to have to respond. So those two things are very concerning. I don't see U.S. leadership. Every time President Biden comes out and says that we're going to defend every inch of NATO territory, I think that's too hard and clear of a line. I actually think he needs to be more strategic and ambiguous there. He should be saying that we will defend NATO missions, and that the Russians would be wise to get away from that border because of an unintentional escalation, or if they're going to push it and start attacking NATO missions. Again, like you said, I don't see U.S. leadership. I see the U.S.